We are going to start the DRFT131 recording session. And let's open our class. Go to modules. And let's see what we got for today. We're going to talk then about blocks, copy and paste, and XREFs. And this has to do with the assignment that we're currently doing. And so if I go to the week overview, I can see that today we're going to talk about using existing content, PDF blocks, um, etc. Okay, so in this particular assignment that we have to do, um, first thing, of course, is to make sure you have AutoCAD open. So let's do that. Let's see if I got it right here, I think. And it's opening. Okay, and then another thing we're going to do, let's get back to the assignment. And so we're going to go to the assignment, and then we can see that there is some information there, right? So we have some basic drawings that we need to work with. Um, and that's what we have. And so how can I use this? Well, what I can do is save the image and maybe import that image into AutoCAD. So the idea is that I should try to use as much as I can to create the project. So, and so if I do that, and I can save it somewhere where I can access it, maybe on the desktop. And let's put here one, right? So I got that image there. And then I could enter that into AutoCAD. That's one of the things I could do. So whenever I have an image as a starting point, do that. Now, the problem with the images, as you remember, is that um, they may be distorted, and then we need to also scale them up. Uh, so it's not the best thing to do, but it's doable. So another thing before we continue, right? Let's analyze the assignment description. It says here, um, dimension and annotate as needed. Okay, well, let's go back. Create an as-built plan. And then create layers as needed, create your own title block, print the drawing on 1/8 scale, and submit. So the best thing actually to do when we are facing a problem like this is to try to reuse a drawing where we already have some of these things set up. And that is what we call the use of a template. So which one of your drawings that you've done previously um, could you use as a template? Well, one comes to mind. This is an architectural drawing. And so in drafting 130, the previous class, you did two architectural drawings, right? You did a floor plan and you did also sections and elevations. So one thing you could do then from previous class is to open that drawing. And let's see if I can do that myself. So open drawing, and then I am going to go to where I think I have it. Okay, so structure, and I'm going to go to 2024, and that should be in my 130 folder. And actually, no, actually, well, actually, yeah, it could be there, but maybe I have it here. And 130 and carpal floor plan. There it is. That should be the one that I need. And that's the drawing I was looking for. Now, um, ideally, within a drawing like this, you will already have set up your paper, right? And so you can see that I already have a title block here. All I need to do is to do my page setup. But also, do I have layers here? I probably do. Yes, I do. I have all the layers that I need. And do I have text styles? Let's check on that. Yes, I have all the text styles that I need. And also, do I have dimension styles already created? Yes, I do. So all of these are the important things that we need to have when starting a drawing of a particular discipline. And so that's why it's always better to start a drawing with a template, because you can reuse some of the settings and information that you already have. In this case, all I need to do is really briefly, because I have a larger title block here. I think this is my 18 by 24. Let me, and I'm going to move this in here. I'm opening the XREF. And then I'm just going to dimension this to see how big my, yeah, it's 24 by 36. So if I can go here, well, let's save it, and then go back, reload it. And then I can do my paste it up. Instead, you need to use any size you want, but in this case, I have my title block set up as 18 by 24. And so that's it. So now, see, just by opening that drawing, now I can save this drawing as, save as, and I'm going to go back to my documents. And this time I am going to create a new folder. Always very important to have the project folder, drafting 131 and spring 21, right? And that's my project folder. And this is the assessment drawing. And save. Update all the X reference paths. And now you're ready to work. I don't need this here. And I may not need all of these objects here. But I am going to leave this, I'm going to leave this here because I could use match properties to create my information. So not a problem leaving it there. So next thing I'm going to do then will be to insert my image. And so we go to insert, attach, and then we look for the image wherever we had it. In this case, I put an image, I think I did put an image on my desktop. So let's see if I can find it. Assessment drawing. Oh, did I do? Assessment drawing base. Okay, and click OK and bring it here. Remember, we need to scale this up, right? And so what I can do is I have some limits here that may not use, but that's a different thing. And then I'm going to insert the other one because this drawing has a couple different images. And so the other one is assessment drawing 3. And same thing, right? And there's one more that I need, the one that shows this little part here. I'm not going to bring that one right now, but I should. So, uh, so once you have the images here, then you can scale them up and get them ready to kind of overlay. Now remember that the problem with the images is that they may be distorted. So keeping that in mind, I can do the scaling and then move on. So let's use the scaling here. I'm going to use maybe this 4:1 scale number there. So I'm going to do scale, click on the object, press enter, and then I'm going to do a base point. Remember, the base point for scaling is anywhere, but I can select that. Now I'm going to do R for reference, see? And now the reference I want is that I want the distance from here to there to be 4 feet 1 inch. And now my drawing is scale. This image is to scale. Let's do the same with this one, although remember that this info here is the same as this area here. So I'm gonna move it and rotate it. Because you may remember the lab, if some of you were in that lab before, this is the main door here. And so that's how the lab is oriented, although the furniture is not oriented that way. So let's scale this one as well. Scale, click on that image, enter, select the base point anywhere. Now I'm going to type R for reference, and I'm going to dimension from one point to the other, and then enter 10, 1, which is what that needs to be. You can see that on the screen. And now this is to scale. So these two drawings, these two images are to scale now. Now keep in mind, remember that the images may be distorted outside that they are. So we're going to use the images just as a reference, then to use our overlay. Now, I'm going to go back and see if I can bring down this other image here, that one. So save image as, and desktop, and maybe 3. Okay, now go back to AutoCAD and see if I can bring that image, insert, attach, and find the image. I'm here, that one. Click OK and place it here, make it a little bit bigger. And now we're going to scale that as well. So scale, click on the image, press enter, select the base point anywhere, kind of on the center, always better. Now R for X for reference. And so we're going to scale that with a reference. And the easiest reference is this one, 18.7. So from this point to this point should be 18.7. And now it's to scale. So it's as easy as that when we have information provided to us in way of images or PDF. Even easier with the PDF, because remember that the PDF you can, I'm just moving this, the PDF you can bring it as vector drawing. So as a matter of fact, see, I just put those two together. They're pretty close. And this one, um, I just need some information from this one, right? Because this wall is not in the right place. This is the right place of the wall. So I just need to make sure that when I draw, there's a wall right here. Done. And so now I'm going to move this closer to inside the limits, make sure it's inside the limits, and then I can start drawing, right? So once we do the drawing, though, you need to check the dimensions because remember, you are using the image as the base. So let's, for example, do this. I'm going to select line, and I'm going to draw this line from this corner to ortho on, and maybe to there, then down, then all the way to there, then up, and there, and I'm going to go to that point, and to the other point, and to the end. So I just use the image as a way to allowing me to do the overlay. Now I am going to do, I'm going to measure here to see the distance from this line to that. So let's measure that with the measuring tool. So from here to there, it says, let's see, what did it say? Oh no. And so let me do this. I'm going to draw a line here and another line from the end point here. I just want to know what the distance is from here to there, because it'll be easier to do just distance. Yes, from here to there, 11 3/4. It'll be easier for me then to offset these lines. And so offset 11.75 and just offset this line all the way. With the exception on here that this distance is less, that seems to be about 8 inches. Offset 8 inches. Offset 2. It's more 6 inches. So once we have that, what we need to make sure we do is verify the dimensions. And I could do this. I could put the images on a particular layer. So I select all the images and place them in a layer that you can turn off, for example, the depth point layers. And now I'm going to turn off the depth point layer. So select that and then depth points off. See, now I need to make sure that the dimensions that I needed are there. So let's undo. The dimension I need is from the top to the 18.7. Okay, so let's do that again. And do a dimension from here to there. And see, it's not precisely what I need, so I need to adjust that, right? And so many ways to do that. So I can do offset 18.7 and then stretch, right? The distance from the wall lines are fine, but just the distance inside was not. And now that's 18.7. And so this procedure will save you a lot of time in trying to create the geometry of that. And we can do that anyway with, as I said, with a draft drawing by hand, with a drawing by computer, or with an image of, if you have a PDF, it's even easier. So that's kind of the first way to understand how to face a particular problem. In this case, the problem is this assignment, right? The assignment says, create the as-built plan, use this drawing. So you need to make sure you know which lines you need to draw, and then verify the dimensions. Now, you need to dimension and annotate as needed. So the idea when dimensioning an as-built plan is to dimension the objects that determine the future design. And so in this case, doors, walls, and windows. The furniture may not need to be dimensioned because it's not a permanent fixture. You can just eyeball where it goes, but the walls, doors, and windows do need to be dimensioned. The layers need to be created as needed. So what I did for that, remember, was just to open the my floor plan from the previous class, and that already has all the layers that I need. Regarding the next problem that I need to have, that I have actually, which is to create my own title block. I already did that in CAD 1. So that's why I opened this drawing, because it already has a title block that I can use. So I don't need to redo it. And finally, to print the drawing, that's also part of this template that I have. If I go to print, then I can see that my page setup is already done. Print to PDF, my CTV is already loaded, paper is already set up, so all I need to do is click OK. So by reusing a drawing that I had, I just saved a lot of time, right? I didn't have to spend time creating layers, creating dimension styles, creating a title block, and so on and so forth. And by importing the image, then I am able to, and scaling it, of course, I'm able to trace on top, which also saves a lot of time. And these are the kind of tools that we want to use when trying to be more productive in AutoCAD. Being more productive in AutoCAD is not about being really quick in the way we draw. It's about reusing as much as you have from previous drawings, and using even complete drawings that you can reprint as well. And you will see that, if you go to work for an architecture company or design company in general, architecture or engineering, they do have details that they use over and over again, because there's no need to redraw some details that we call typical details. That's important. So another thing that I want to talk to you about today is the use of blocks. And so let me get back to the module and week overview. Right, it says here blocks, right? And so remember what blocks are, right? You have a beginner's concept of what blocks are. One second, I'm trying to get to this. I should have that ready, but anyway. Okay, so yeah, 131. All right, so in how do I apply? Remember that blocks are objects that have been pre-drawn that you can use on and on, and you don't have to redraw them. So again, the theme here seems to be reuse, not redraw. And so here I have an object that is a good candidate for a block, and that's this chair. I don't need to draw this chair again if I can find the chair that that's trying to represent. And most blocks are, most furniture that we use in commercial spaces, and even furniture that we use in residential spaces as well. But mostly, for sure, the commercial furniture has already been drawn in AutoCAD or in 3D as well. So all you need to do is to try to find out where it is. And so I know what this, the chair that we use at City College is called. And so I can try to use it right now. I can try to find it, use that information, right? And so before that, let's go back to the modules here and see if I can open these course resources. I don't know if it's going to open or not, but maybe it will. There it is. And so in these course resources, see what it says here, good site for free CAD blocks. And so maybe we do that. Maybe we go to that website and see if we can find the block for that. And so looking for free CAD blocks. So a good thing to do is then to do that, go in the internet and try to find if the object that you need has already been drawn. And there are many blocks here, right? So you can check all of those. First in Architecture is a really good block that belongs to a British architect, and she provides in her website for a lot of information about things that we need in things that we might need in our project. So I am on um, let's see, First in Architecture, and I want to go to the First in Architecture website. And so you can see that there are many blocks here already drawn of objects that we use in our drawings. And so there is no need for us to redraw all of this, right? And so maybe you can use that or not. Now, that said, I know that the chair that I'm looking for is actually manufactured by Herman Miller. And so what I can do also is to look for the chair, iron chair, yeah. And so see if there is a CAD drawing. So I'm going to do CAD file. And yes, all of these websites have a copy of that. So if I open that, then I can go to there and download that chair. See, that's the chair we use. The only problem with this GraphCAD file was that I opened that STP and it's not the one I want. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for DWG file actually. And then you can go to, I know Herman Miller's got it, right? Because those are the guys that make it, but I want to go to an alternative site, maybe this one. And there it is. And so you need to have an account here to download this object, but you know, it's not bad to do it. And so just select the model that you need and then hit download. And that way you don't have to redraw it. And then of course we go to Herman Miller. And so let's go to Herman Miller. And those are all the objects. Symbol libraries and Revit libraries and AutoCAD libraries. So you can download the whole thing and it'll have all the furniture that you could buy from him over there. So these are ways that you can do them to improve the speed at which you draw, right? You can just try to reuse as many blocks as you have. Now, in our homeworks, you're going to find we have some tools that allow you to do this. And so what are the tools that we use when reusing information from other drawings? We could XREF, right? XREF is an important tool. We'll talk more about XREF in the future, right? But if you already have a drawing that you can use, and that's kind of what we did with the image, right? The image that we inserted became inserted as an XREF, right? So you can do, see if I type XR, sends me to the XREF dialog box, then that's exactly what I did. With insert attach, I am XREFing the images. So XREF is a good way to bring content from one drawing to another, or from one file to another file. We can XREF all of these different type of files, right? We can XREF DWG, images, DWF, DGN, PDF. All of those are possible XREF content. Another way that we have is to do copy and paste, right? If I am in a drawing like this, I could do copy and paste of this object into my other drawing, right? So how do we do copy and paste? Well, remember, all you need to do is select the object, right click, clipboard, copy, or copy with base point, either way. And then you do on the next drawing, you go to another drawing, for example, here, right click, clipboard, paste, right? And done. So now we just did reuse this object. And when you do copy and paste, remember that not only do you get that particular object, but you get all the settings that are related to this object. For example, there are some settings here related to annotations. And so now I have titles and notes in this drawing that didn't have any settings. Same thing again, if I select to copy and paste a dimension, right? Right click, clipboard, copy. And then I go to this drawing. There are no dimension there. Well, that one is set by this particular line. But if I go to a drawing with that, there are absolutely no dimensions here, dimension styles, and I paste this dimension style, and I paste this dimension object. Now I have the whole dimension style. See, architecture. And so that's a great thing with copy and paste, is that not only do I copy the object that I'm trying to copy, but I copy all the settings related to that object. So XREF, copy and paste are important tools that we can use when trying to reuse drawing content from one drawing to another. And this particular drawing that we are doing, this assessment, is an example of that. Try to do as much as you can to reuse information that you already had, so that you don't have to spend too much time redoing things that you shouldn't. That includes content and settings on any drawing. And that's it for today, really. If you have any questions right now, I'm opening for questions. But other than that, if you feel you got it, then just keep working on it, and I'll see you next time. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, well, no questions. Then that's it for tonight. Thank you very much. And hope to see you in the future.